Hello all and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. Now we are streaming to you on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to comment, like and share our video. While you're at it, hit the bell button so that you can be alerted to our videos. Now I'll have my newsroom colleagues to join me in this show as well to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Now on to our first segment, PMD users beware. Now you won't be able to cruise through MRT stations on your PMD. As part of a trial to improve safety for commuters, SMRT has put up metal barriers to deter PMD users from barreling through the concourse area. Currently, these metal barriers are in place within Woodlands MRT station. Now, the barriers are arranged such that PMD users do not have a straight path to ride through. To tell us more, I have with me right here Toh Ting Wei. Welcome, Ting Wei.
Hi, Haryanto.
Now, Ting Wei, tell me, you were at Woodlands MRT station to take a look at the metal barriers. Are they really effective, in getting PMD users to dismount? And really, isn't it quite ridiculous to have them there? Doesn't it inconvenience the other commuters as well?
Okay, so I was there last week, and from what I saw, there's okay, I will go on with the effective part first.
Yeah.
So from what I saw, it seems like the PMD users, most of them are the food delivery riders there. So most of them, they seem to started to avoid the station completely. They take a detour around the station instead of going through the station. So I think in that aspect, it does help to make it safer because now you have less PMDs going into the stations.
Yep.
And from what I've heard from residents there, they say some PMD users, they used to just rush through the concourse without stopping. But now with the barriers, they have no option, but they have to stop and to dismount. So yeah, in these two aspects, it's quite effective. But looking at the bigger picture, there are people who are saying that it's not effective because once they go past the barriers, it's around a 2-meter stretch, I think. They will get on their PMDs and ride out again. So during the short time that I was there last week, I saw a PMD user. He was just riding through the concourse, and after that, he rode out of the station through a gap between the barriers and the wall. So in the aspect, because if they don't pay out with enforcement inside the station to stop people from mounting their PMDs again, then it can't be that effective. In terms of inconvenience-wise, I would think for human traffic jam, it doesn't really cause much of a delay because, as I mentioned, it's around a 2-meter stretch, 3-meter stretch. People will just have to take extra 10 seconds to walk through because there's a bit of a jam. But after that, there's no problems with that.
Yeah, and we are seeing some comments right now on Facebook as well saying that, what about the wheelchair, people who are on wheelchairs? Would that inconvenience people who are on wheelchairs then?
So I think, there's definitely an issue that we have wondered about. So we have actually asked SMRT about it, but they didn't give us an answer with respect to that.
Right.
But for these barriers, I guess the thing is because they are movable, and then as I mentioned, they are placed in a way there are somehow gaps between the barriers and the walls. So I guess the wheelchair users, if they are there, they can still go through these gaps. Or the more inconvenient way for them would be to go in a roundabout way because there's another entrance much further away than maybe around 50 meters away. So they might have to go by there, or they might have to get someone to help them shift the barriers to create a hole for them to go through.
So and generally the sensing that you get from the people that you interviewed, are they quite receptive to this? Were they reacting positively or negatively towards these barriers that are in place?
Surprisingly, it's been quite positive from all aspects. So I mean, residents are saying things that can be improved, like making sure that people don't mount their PMDs again when they are inside. But they are happy to see that at least something is being done to sort of make them safer within the Woodlands MRT station concourse. And for a PMD advocate I spoke to, he was saying that it's also a good development because moving ahead, it shows clear dismount and push rule at the station. So by right, according to LTA's regulations, PMD users have to fold and then push or carry their folded device through the MRT station. But for this, with this kind of the dismount stance, it kind of gives them a bit of leeway to just dismount and push their PMD through, which they seem to be quite happy about because at least it's a compromise. They don't have to fold the device, but they still ensure that it's a safer journey for others. So
and of course with this in line as well, this in place, it also sort of give a very good blanket rule, as it were, in all stations, right? Because sometimes the people that you've interviewed as well, they've given feedback to say that some stations, they enforce quite different rules.
So because I think his name is Dennis Koh, he's a PMD advocate.
Yep.
So he was talking about how at some stations they were asked to really carry their device through, which is in a sense a bit difficult because it's almost 20 kg. If you want to carry through the entire concourse, that's a bit far. And for those food delivery riders, you can't really expect them to fold their devices when there's the food packages on top. But of course, safety is still the topmost priority. So I think for the public, what they want to see is that efforts are being made to make this safe
for everyone decision. And of course, just having a look at all the comments that we have right now on our video, a lot of people are just raising concerns with regard to people who are on wheelchairs. But again, like what you mentioned, of course, they can still maneuver through the barriers, or the other way is to actually go around the barriers via a different entrance for people who are on wheelchairs.
But I would say that's not ideal still. So I mean, I don't think it's something they have really figured out a solution to. At least they haven't publicly announced it. But that's definitely something they should consider, because I mean, if you are a wheelchair user, it's quite inconvenient to really just push extra 50 meters, take a roundabout way to get back. So,
but after all, this is still a trial that is ongoing, and of course, feedback like this would actually help in making sure that eventually whatever measures that are going to be rolled out will be in the best interest of everyone that be it the PMD users, commuters, or even those who are on wheelchair as well, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, Ting Wei, in your own opinion, you've covered quite a bit of PMD stories and PMD related stories as well. What do you think that can be done more on the authorities' side to ensure that PMD errant users are being kept in check?
Okay, so I think this is quite a divisive topic. So we have two distinct camps: one calling for the ban of PMDs, and then the other group calling for PMDs to be allowed, but in a regulated environment. That's the PMD users themselves. So in terms of what the authorities have done, I think it's something that's quite okay what they have been doing so far, because they have actually imposed quite a lot of regulations. And now recently they have been stepping up enforcement efforts. If you go to LTA's Facebook page, every 2 or 3 days you'll definitely see them post an update about people who were caught flouting the rules, and their pictures are also up there to kind of in a way
as a deterrence of sorts, right?
So in a way, I guess what the authorities are doing now is already adequate. Maybe they could step up even more enforcement efforts, because at the moment it seems like there has to be a need to change the behaviors of these PMD users who are not all PMD users, but maybe a small group of PMD users are not being very responsible in their use. So I think over the long term, there's a need to get the message out to them to how to ride safely and properly. So,
all right. So thank you once again, Ting Wei, for coming on board the big story to kind of like share a bit more, about the trial that's been in place right now at Woodlands MRT station, the metal barriers. Of course, as we mentioned, it is still a trial. A lot of feedback are still going to be amassed, and eventually we will see what is going to be put in place to make sure that such errant users, or just to promote a more responsible culture with regard to using PMDs. Right. Thank you once again, Ting Wei.